But I will say that this was a breaking point for me in the way that the administration responded to it. Like, I didn't think what's happening right now with ICE could happen in America. I genuinely did not think that was possible. I thought our institution, I thought the Constitution would hold up. When I see it and then immediately defend it, I start to go, we gotta be very loud about this. Like it all of a sudden becomes not like liberal catastrophic thinking. It starts to become very reasonable, nuanced criticism of the administration. They have just made the most far left critiques of the Trump administration. Their reaction to this has just justified all of them.
Let me ask
In one moment, all of their responses from Trump to Kash Patel, they have justified every single and I know people will probably look at this and be like, they've done a million other things to justify them. Sure, and that's fair. But this specific situation, I think, is a breaking point, and it has justified all those criticisms. I think people's antennas are way up, and people's antennas that were not up initially.
This is like seeing the Epstein files. Because it's like,
wouldn't it be nice if we got those?
It's like, damn, y'all really been lying to us. Like, damn, like you really lying to us. Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
It appears Andrew Schulz is admitting defeat.
I didn't know that this was possible to happen in the United States of America. And what I'm specifically talking about with this situation here, and like not only this one, but also what we've seen ICE doing, like entering homes without warrants, like arresting people. It is unconstitutional. And they've done this weird thing where like they have like a federally administrative warrant, which is some it doesn't even allow you to actually have access into a home. Yeah, they're trying to find ways around the system. And what that says to me, when you're willing to shred the Constitution to preserve it's not only your power, but your ideas of what should happen, it is incredibly un-American.
That's the Fourth Amendment. First, Second, Fourth Amendment.
The fourth is the one about entering somebody's home. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I just think it's an important thing to speak out against. I just think it's horrific.
And many are not buying it.
So let's talk about what happened in Minneapolis. ICE murdered an American citizen in cold blood, and then the Trump administration called him a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like plain and simple.
Yeah.
I see the administration trying to spin it, and it's fucking disgusting. Yeah. It's like they didn't even have a moment where they're like, hey, we're reviewing the footage. We're going to try to see what's really happening. All of them, Trump and all the cronies, put out collective statements that immediately blamed an American citizen that was exercising his First and Second Amendment rights, right? He has the right to protest. He has the right to carry a firearm. He's a legal gun owner, right? There's no question about this whatsoever. And the administration immediately comes out and they try to gaslight the public, which you cannot do when we have 15 different videos of what happened.
Yes.
And
that is what they do, though.
But that is what they do.
Yeah.
And I think that governments have probably been doing this for centuries, millennia. And now you have a public that is armed with phones and we can see what actually happened. And you're not going to just lie to us, plain and simple, like that.
Because this was exactly what would happen. Why? Well, as one critic wrote, it was an open book test, Andrew.
Putting this guy back into office might be one of the most cataclysmic things this country has ever done. And you putting a little spit shine on him on his way back into office is not something that we're soon going to forget. But if you at least make an effort at acknowledging that, and you at least make an effort in recognizing that, and then changing your behavior around that, there is, I think, some level of understanding that will be afforded to you. But all this bull about you coming out and I don't like this and that's bad for immigration. Brother, take a nice long look in the mirror. Take a nice long look in the mirror because you helped do this. More so than a lot of other public figures, and in ways will not and cannot be easily forgiven, fixed and undone if they can be fixed at all. It is time for you to have a public reckoning about your failures. And honestly, only you can really do that. Get to it, please.
Luke Thomas called him out.
Because it is significant. At least for a certain part of the electorate, it is significant. And you did that. And you had every reason to know better, and you didn't know better. You need to reflect on what that means for the kinds of things you should be doing in your career. If you have a guy who was in office, tried to steal a presidential election on the way out, and by the way, Andrew, I don't know if you know this, but more of that is on the way. So whatever your revulsion about ICE, get ready, brother, because we haven't even gotten to the midterms yet, to say nothing of 2028. You need to reconcile with what you did and the negligence that you showed that brought us to this hell, where now they are tearing communities apart. They're so heavy-handed. They're murdering in cold blood U.S. citizens, to say nothing of the surveillance state that they're building, to say nothing of the harm this will do to local tax bases, to say nothing of the fact that now we have prominent immigrants now leaving the country because of the broader climate of fear that it is creating, to say nothing of the nosedive that has happened to tourism, because who the wants to come here when anyone who has any kind of even remotely shaky immigration status, even if it's actually not even shaky, now has to face the potential of ending up in ICE custody. You played a role in this one. You did.
And he's right, though he's not alone.
Andrew Schulz brought DJT onto his broadcast, and he was a hardcore supporter. And I mean hardcore. A lot of these things that he's now coming to the realization of being true, he's heard them before. He's just now realizing, oh wait, they were right all along. You'll just have to forgive me if my frustration is, why didn't you listen to begin with? This isn't something we've just been saying. We've been saying it for 10 years straight. The moment he came down that escalator in 2015 and announced his candidacy, we've been saying it. And now, 10 years later, you want to go, oh, wait, they were right. When the worst case scenario happens, when 2 lives were lost, when citizens are being abducted, when there's a measles outbreak, now happening as a result of them detaining citizens. But okay, thanks, Andrew. I'm happy you've woken up. It took us going to hell and back, but glad you're on our side now. Let's hope you stay this way.
Raw Cognizance spoke facts.
Andrew Schulz is really trying to save his reputation. Trying to act like he wasn't the guy who platformed Trump. Not just platformed Trump, trying to act like he's never been the comedian who uses stereotypes to try and denigrate an entire community. Look, I've been warning people about Andrew Schulz for a long time because I started comedy with him and other comedians like him who hide their true feelings about marginalized communities and people of color through jokes. And I've been warning people about Andrew Schulz and his type of humor and how he should try using humor to uplift a community, not denigrate it, so then violence could be inflicted against it. So if you want to listen to a podcast with a comedian as a host who has never supported Trump and whose co-host is an actual lawyer that knows the law, and I invite you to listen to my podcast, Vital Questions, wherever you get your podcast, and come watch me do stand-up comedy March 26th at Punchline Philly.
As did Che Guerrero on TikTok. I am truly curious how everyone feels about this because I have given my thoughts on this previously, that Andrew Schulz and Flagrant are part of the manosphere, the brosphere comedian content that ushered in fascism and are responsible for where we are right now. The Tony Hinchcliffes, the Joe Rogans, the Andrew Schultzes, they downplayed all of this. They platformed him. And it's okay to, in some fashion and to some degree, to platform, as long as you fact check, as long as you push back, not just going up there and yucking it up and just letting someone say whatever they want without being checked. I have a huge issue with that, and everyone should take umbrage with that. My question is to all of you, how do you feel about this? Truly. He's kind of admitting he was wrong, and yet simultaneously, if he had to do it over again, I think he would vote the exact same way. But I'm curious, truly. How do you feel about these turns being taken by Andrew Schulz? And what else do you want to see from him for you to have any confidence in him at all, even if you feel like you'll have none because the damage is done? Truly curious. Leave a comment down below. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports, and or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.